$4,000 LinkedIn automation for a client. I say $4,000 because this is a real client project. Somebody has hired me to build this automation for them. This is actually part two of the series. I'm trying to build these live so you can kind of see how we build these from scratch, how I think about the systems, how I design them out, how I respond to a client brief, and then how I start kind of thinking about things as we go ahead and build it out step by step. So you can see how I pull pieces from other automations, from other creators, kind of combine them into one thing to make sure that I'm able to execute on the brief. So I hope this is really valuable to you. And I hope this is something that you can kind of give you a sense of what it's like to own and operate an AI agency when you're working on real client projects. It's different than when you're just tinkering at home by yourself, although a lot of there are a lot of similarities and a lot of the same things apply. And so like I said, this is actually part two. Last time we kind of went through and started kind of scraping content from LinkedIn. We started scraping news sources from RSS feeds and from a Telegram trigger. So if you want to check that out, check out part one. I will leave a link in the description, but we are streaming live here as we continue to build out this system. And so this is the client brief. Sort of some of what we have covered is in this first section, like getting news from articles, scraping RSS feeds, websites that he reads regularly. Basically, this will come from the Telegram trigger. We haven't done Twitter accounts, so we have to do this at some point, and we haven't done text to podcasts, which I think we're going to start working on today, kind of grabbing stuff from YouTube, and then maybe Telegram channels if that's something we're able to get to. I haven't actually worked with Telegram channels before, so that's something I would have to learn myself. And I think what I want to start doing is planning this out a little bit more in earnest, kind of like thinking long-term about this, and I want to start working on this AI clustering and topics and identity. So I don't necessarily have a grasp of that yet. So we're kind of going to think through this together. I'm going to show you how I build this out inside of n8n, how I use tools like ChatGPT and Claude to kind of help me think through the process. And again, how I rely on myself and my knowledge and also some of the knowledge from other creators, because I think part of the advantages to these systems that you can kind of pick and pull pieces from a lot of places to basically execute on the brief and give your client what you're asking for. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you get there. It's all about making sure that your client is happy and that you're providing the value to them that they've hired you to give them. So where we're at today is we basically scraped a lot of news sources. We have social posts here. This is the Airtable database that we're going to be working off of. And we have all our social posts with the headline, a summary, a link to the article, and things like that. And we started scraping content over here in the scraped content field. All I've done so far is scraped 2 LinkedIn profiles just to kind of test the system and see if it works. Sabrina's profile and my profile, and we're just grabbing kind of the body text from the article, the likes and the comments, and the posted date. And so I was kind of trying to think through the system a little bit about how this would work. And I think what I do want to do is I want to add another field in here that just kind of identifies what platform the post came from. And I think we'll kind of sort these using these grid views over here. This is kind of in my head. I've just been trying to map out how this works. And I think we'll probably have to adapt over time, but I think we'll probably have a view that has posts from every channel. And then we'll have a separate view, like one for Twitter, one for LinkedIn, one for the YouTube podcast. It's kind of sorted by those. And then we're going to try to pull them into something else kind of based off of how they're ranked. One of the things the client really wants to do is, cluster them by topics. So we'll have to create kind of a system to identify the topics. I think that'll probably be a different automation that kind of runs as they come in. I'll have to think through that. And then it's going to have to prioritize them and group them in tasks, group them, prioritize from 1 to 5, which is going to be a challenge. And so I'm trying to figure out how we can take a ton of content. If we're running these scrapers every single day, like there's a chance there's 100, 200, 300 posts that come in. So how do we kind of trim this down to what the most relevant content is? He says he only has 2 to 3 posts, 2 posts per day. And so I think there's definitely a big challenge here with the amount of content we're trying to optimize for. And I think we're going to try to get, the best result as possible. And we'll probably have to make some concessions along the way. And that's just sort of how these systems work. And so I'm going to start thinking this through right now, kind of planning this out. I think it's helpful to see how we would design kind of our system architecture for something like this. And then we kind of can go into build mode. And, I don't know if it's my ADD brain or what, but being able to hop back and forth, between the planning stage and the building stage and n8n and Airtable, and just kind of like, that's kind of all how I've always worked. It's just kind of like stacking the pieces together the best we can. And so I think, the first thing we want to do here is, we're going to, scrape sources. So what are the sources that we have? We have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have podcasts, which is coming from YouTube. Guess I'm probably gonna have to, I don't really use this program this much, so I'm gonna have to adjust that box. YouTube, and news, right? So those are kind of the sources that we have. And can I adjust this box? Does anyone know who uses Xscout? Okay, great. Let's just adjust this box here. All right, so this is kind of like the sources that we have. And then so from here, we're going to need, for every single one of these, we're basically going to need, can draw an arrow. Cool, great. Learning as we go. So I think what we need to do is, identify like the engagement metrics, right? Likes, comments, shares, views. I think it's probably something we'll really look at. And I think these are the main ones, right? Likes, comments, shares, views. And I think that's it. So we can have this here. I think that's great. We can put this in a little box too. This is going to be from these, just kind of look at this. And so what do we need to do from here? We're going to have to break them off into groups, and we're going to have to categorize them by topic. And I think we're going to want to rank the posts, right? I think what we need to do from here, this is going to be kind of like a two-flow system, I feel like, where we're going to need to first kind of like rank the posts based off of, I don't know what we want to rank them off. I think I'll probably use ChatGPT or Claude to help me figure out how we do it. I think one way to do it would be like, if there are outliers, like do we want to rank this by outliers? So something that has 2 times the number of views as the average. Do we want to just go straight by like what has the most views, or do we want to create some sort of metric that's like comment, comment? We'll just do comment to view ratio, right? So it's like if something has 1,000 views and 500 comments, like people are responding a lot to that content, right? And so that's like a really good indicator that it's a strong content. And so there's a number of different ways to rank these. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure what the best is. I think, there's a way to look at it in a number of ways. I think this is a good time always to like check in with the client, right? I think one thing, we want to ask like goals, right? What are your goals? Is it engagement, or is it just to be seen, right? And so I think that really determines kind of like how this works. And so if you want to start looking at stuff that has number of views, like number of views likely, there's kind of a couple different ways that all the social platforms work. It's like SEO, search engine optimization. So what's trending, what's current, what's in the news, what are people are talking about, right? And then there's engagement. So how well are your videos performing? How many people are commenting on them? And so, number of views likely has to do with the fact that you're talking about something on trend that's kind of going around. So that content is just being pushed out and being surfaced to a whole bunch of people. But the stuff that's really resonating with people is stuff that's getting a lot of comments. So that might be something we want to look at. And so the goals, I think, would be, are you just trying to be seen? I think he mentioned that he's looking to be seen as like an expert in his field, which is great. But that's, very different in terms of just trying to get views. Or are you trying to get business? Are you trying to get sales? And I would say that your views are less important if you have like a really engaged audience, right? This is audiences who comment on your posts are a highly qualified audience, right? So this means that they're likely to buy whatever it is that you're selling or hit you up because they want to work with you. They're really engaged with your content. And so maybe if their goals are more in line with, trying to market a product or market their business, which I think in some cases it is, that maybe this is a better metric to kind of rank it with. And so that's just kind of how I'm sort of thinking through the system right now. Cool. Hope that was helpful. So we scraped the sources, we've kind of gathered all this data, we've ranked the posts. And then after we've kind of ranked the posts, I think what we need to do is 2 things, right? You can see this here. Let me switch to this, like topics and rank. And so we're going to need to come up with a way to sort by, or why don't we say like categorize, right? Categorize. So we're going to need to categorize these topics, and then we're going to sort by category. And are we going to want a separate view? Again, are we going to want to do it? I think maybe the way that it's going to work is that we'll likely sort them by rank. I think is probably what we're going to do. We'll sort them by rank, and then we'll just sort of be able to like see the categories next to it. I think this person actually has 2 separate businesses that they're working on. They sent me really helpful brand guidelines, which is great. That'll be helpful to kind of understand what they want to talk about. So we can, for each business or each brand, we can basically look at which content by category is ranking the highest. And then so for business A, we can, create posts off the highest ranking content by these categories. And for business B, we can create posts by the highest ranking content based off of like another grouping of categories. So I think that's probably going to be how we want to do it. So we'll have to figure out how we structure the Airtable database. So from there, that's pretty good. I think this is helpful to plan out. I'll add a box for consistency because that's what we do. And then from there, I think choose 2 to 3 topics for AI to work on for that day. I think we'll probably just have like an automation for this part here. That's basically just going to like look at our Airtable database. It's going to pick the top 2 or 3, highest ranked topics, and we're going to figure out how we kind of structure our AI prompts to kind of repurpose that content into something more aligned with this person's brand voice and their persona and kind of like their strategy, right? Their business strategy. So that's helpful. Sort categorize for rank. We can write this, I think, if we want, just so we have it here. Where's this arrow? Just do AI grabs highest ranked content from Airtable. And then from there, what's going to happen is it's just going to write the posts, right? AI does research. Yeah, research and write. Research and write. And so I like the ampersand. Doesn't that look nice? Great. Research and write, which is cool. So that I think covers kind of this part. Post per methodology. So we're going to kind of have to figure that out. I have some writing frameworks that I like to use and some writing prompts. I think they're probably still in here. And so let's see if this will, okay, so they're not still in here. I have another database, so I'll probably pull these in. If we open this up, we can go into one of my other databases that I reference a lot. And I have these writing prompts basically for every social channel, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. And can I just copy all of this? So we have it, right? Let's bring this over. Can I paste this? No, not in there. Can I do this? Can I do this? Expand the table? There we go. Excuse me. So paste this in here. And so basically, I just have Twitter, like prompts for a Twitter channel, right? You're an AI industry expert creating optimized Twitter posts, and here are some rules. And once we get to the writing stage, I'll go over this in a lot more detail. We have LinkedIn, right? Here's how you can structure a LinkedIn post. And I actually have a couple of different writing frameworks that I like to use to kind of give variety in your posts, things like that. Brand guidelines, we'll fill these in. I have some guidelines around here. This is a great place to drop your tone of voice guidelines, things like that. Or if you have different image styles, why don't I just copy all of this too and paste this over here for now so that we have something to work with. That's not working. There we go. So we have something to work with here. And so basically, once we start testing, we have these kind of like tone of voice guidelines, and then there's kind of just different image styles. And so if you have a different brand, you can kind of create an image style and a prompt for that style. And so when you go to generate images down the line, you can kind of pull from this Airtable database and then kind of generate these prompts. And clients love stuff like this because rather than them having to hop into n8n and like change prompts and things like that, like the Airtable or whatever database, Google Sheets, or Superbase or whatever it is that you're using, like this is their hub. This is the hub for your clients. They don't have to worry about the automation side. Most clients are not super tech savvy. They can just come in here and they can update their prompts and the image styles or things like that. And the rest of the flow should just work, right? So I'm gonna have a sip of water here. Great. So this is researching and writing. This is cool. Repost of a certain article. And the comment in the post. So repost is something I have to think about. Is that Twitter or LinkedIn? Not sure. Just put, TW, not using the mouse. I'm using the trackpad. It's not helpful. Okay. And then the last part is This is fine. Human in the loop with approval. Pad underlining. We can go over that later. Ping and Telegram. Shows a few final copies. We'll get into that when we do writing. Use brand colors and guidelines. And then this part is going to be really important. This is going to be the last phase of it, right? Is over time, he wants the agent or the system to analyze views and likes and kind of rank the posts. And I think we'll actually maybe use like a similar system for this client as what like these scraper systems, right? We can just include their posts always, right? If they're posting to LinkedIn and they're scraping, or they're posting to Twitter, we can, when we're scraping these channels, they'll just be one of the profiles that we scrape, and we'll just have like a separate view or something like that that's just for their content. So we can kind of start to analyze and categorize like how their content is performing too, and kind of compare it to everyone else's. And then the system learns over time what to pull from. And so I think, again, this is where we start to see, between kind of like this stuff, we really start to see that there is a lot of content for the AI to analyze and optimize for. And so trying to figure out the best way to do that is going to be a real challenge. Like, can we put, can we have ChatGPT or Claude or whoever like analyze 50 different posts and come up with the most optimal way to post? I'm not sure. I think maybe we're going to be repurposing high performing content as kind of the way I think it's going to have to happen, as opposed to trying to, analyze for themes. And I think maybe we can do a little bit of that, but we'll get into that, I think. So what I really want to focus on now in terms of building is we've already scraped LinkedIn, which is great. And I think it would be really helpful to scrape one more source like YouTube, just so that we can start, again, organizing this and starting to build out this Airtable database for a couple of different platforms, because we know if we can do it for 2, then we can probably do it for 3, and then we can probably do it for 5. So we want to start kind of like building these pieces together, so that it works. So we're going to try to figure out how to scrape for YouTube, add this to the table. Like I said, I think what I want to do here is go ahead and add a field to the right, because we're going to need it's just going to be single select, right? And so we're going to call this platform, and we're going to come in here. The single select is fine. We're going to add an option. We'll say, well, where do we scrape first? We scrape LinkedIn first, and as we all know, LinkedIn is blue and white. We're going to come in here and we'll do YouTube second. YouTube is red. Where else? We have X. Oh, are we calling it X now? Or have we moved on? Have we moved on from Twitter? Is it X? I'll go with X. I don't know. Elon got me. It's been what, like a year, 2 years since they made the change? How long did it take for adoption? I'm not sure. LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and what was the other one that we said? LinkedIn, YouTube, X. Oh, and news, which we kind of already have. So that's great. Let me come in here. And this isn't actually going to be news sources. So maybe it's just these 3: LinkedIn, YouTube, X. He's not doing TikTok, not doing Instagram. So let's go with this for now. And I think that's probably enough for us to at least get started, right? And so I think what we can do is, just because we know all of these came from LinkedIn, I can copy this and I can just paste these all down here. And now we know that these are all categorized by LinkedIn. And so what we can do is we can duplicate this view, and we can say all content, and we can call this one LinkedIn. And now we can sort by this field. I have this filtered by likes greater than 4, and condition is platform is LinkedIn. And obviously this is only going to show LinkedIn because that's all we scraped so far. But now we're kind of setting us up for the long run here, right? And so this is just kind of, again, filtered by likes. We don't want to show anything with only 4 likes. My posts don't get a lot of love on LinkedIn yet. Haven't been posting very long. Plan to grow that over time. Cool. So the next thing I want to do is add to this LinkedIn scraper flow is I want to add a YouTube flow. Good news is for everyone here that my man, Nick Sarev, who is killing it, like one of my favorite automation YouTube guys, automation guys on YouTube, love his content. He basically, when did this video come out? Like May, like today, right? So good timing. Shout out Nick. Thanks. Go follow him. He's awesome. Great. He basically has this little YouTube flow that he dropped. And so this is what I was talking about, where like, you don't have to be like a purist or an elitist. Like if other people are building systems that are working for you, like grab them, right? Grab them and start incorporating them. Like if you want, like this is Nick's school community. He has a lot of people in here. He's killing it. This is my school community. I have less people in here. I'm also significantly cheaper. So if you want to start grabbing these systems, like you can come in here and, kind of poke around, check it out, check out the classroom and see what we have to offer. And you can come in here and download a bunch of resources and blueprints and just import them directly into n8n, and you can grab the Airtable database and get working, right? And so you can kind of repackage these systems for your clients. For a lot of my automations and things like that, like I think I did it for this LinkedIn one here. We have breakdowns of kind of like the video for it, what you'll learn, how I design the systems. Then down at the bottom, you have the resources. And like I even have like a complete setup guide for how your clients can kind of set these up, step-by-step instructions, all the credentials they need, and things like that. So all that aside, let's pop back in here and let's start getting to work with Nick's YouTube flow that he kind of built out here. We're gonna have to make some changes, right? So you can see that he's using Google Sheets. We are using Airtable, so it's a little bit different, but largely the same. So he has the trend detector database, and so let's see what he's doing. He's basically just getting all of the rows from this database. I know that it's set up with channel IDs for what he wants to scrape, and so that's something I think that we can build into. So let's do this first. This is scraped content. So why don't we add a field, and we can start from scratch, and we can call this. We can call it. Why don't we call this channels for now? And maybe I think as we build this out, I don't have this for LinkedIn set up yet, but I think what we can do is we can just add this. We can call this channel ID, and that's fine. And no, like we don't need any of this, I don't think, because really all I'm doing is I want to grab this, and I'm going to mimic kind of what we have in the other field. So all we're going to do is we're just going to grab whatever channel IDs we have in here, and we're going to scrape this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this field to also call this platform, just like we did before. I know we just went through this, but this is okay. It's always good to have a little bit of repetition, because this is kind of this is the industry, right? YouTube, just to match it, and we'll do X. Cool. And we'll do this. Great. And so what we're going to have is we're going to scrape this Airtable, and we're going to get all of the channel IDs. And so why don't we start, love Ken too, like Nick. So why don't we just start with these guys here, I think, just so we have it, and we'll do my own as well, because, whatever, we're vain here, right? We're all about ourselves. So this is my channel. If you want to get a channel ID really easily, you can come into more, and you can just go to share channel, and you can go to copy channel ID. And if you want, actually, maybe we'll just add one more channel here to the right, and not link to another record, sorry. Insert right, and we will do long text, and we'll just call this channel author. Cool, and I'll just paste this in here. Was this mine? Did I grab mine? Okay, I grabbed mine, and we can do the name. We'll do handle at me. Great, cool, awesome. We can do this. We don't need this anymore. I will come in here. We'll grab Nick's, because Nick's awesome. Come down here, share channel, copy channel ID. And again, when I hand this to my client, right, he's going to have to put in, or we're going to have to work together to kind of put in, the handles for the podcast that he wants to scrape, right? Like I said, he wants to work with podcasts. And so we'll have to figure out how we get podcasts and we get transcripts. We'll be using APIs, likely from Rapid API. I have some of those up here. Great. So Nick's cool. And then Ken is also super cool. So we'll grab some stuff from him as well, and I'll show share channel and copy ID here, and I'll paste that in. So so we have like a couple things to work with, right? So we'll go this, and I'm sure we'll pull some stuff from there too. So come in here, we'll add Ken here, just so we have it. And platform, we'll do YouTube. It's a little bit of manual work, but the idea is likely you'll be kind of like pulling from the same people over and over again, right? So once you kind of set this up the first time, in theory, like you shouldn't have to really set this up again. So I think what we're going to do, this is filtered from list, no filters here. And so I'm just going to erase this here, and I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to add in Airtable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search records, and we have this, and we're going to have the list here. I'm going to go ahead and find this. We know it starts with FS, and going to have the LinkedIn build. And now we're going to find the table here. The table is channels. So we are filtering by formula, and we're just doing platform equals YouTube. If I test this step, we're going with return all. Let's see. Great. 3 items. So this worked, right? So we have the channels ID for Ken, Nick, and myself. This is great. So this is kind of already working. Cool. And this is going to loop over the items. What this means is that it's actually just going to go through one of these records one at a time, right? And you can see here that we have the loop branch. It just pulled in the first one, and it's going to go through the flow for the first one. It's going to do it once for the first one, then the second, and the third. So now we have this YouTube GIF video, and I meant to do this earlier because I actually don't think I have my credential set up here. So that's going to be a challenge. We can go to console.google.com. That's what I had in here. If I come in here, I believe, So I've already built a project here. If I come into AI news, I actually think I already do have Google Sheets set up. I want to see, we go to the OAuth consent screen really quick just to see what I have set up in here. Clients. So n8n does exist. This is great. You can, I'll probably have to change this after this video. But is what it is. Like, you guys see the process. We have the client ID, and we come in here and we have client secret. And I can do this, and I think I should already have the redirect here. That's saved. You can sign in with me. Let's see if I already gave it the YouTube scopes. We'll find out. Cool. So give it the YouTube scopes. That already exists. That's fine. Cool. We should have a successful connection. And that's great. I'm happy with this. So one thing, pro tip, literally found this out not that long ago. If you are like me and you have something up here that says YouTube account 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like super annoying. This is how you change it. You come in here and you click here. I was looking for like a pencil or something, or I was going into here looking for how you change the credential names. I was looking in the credential screen. You can just come up here, you can click this, and you can change this. And so I'll just call this me, Duncan, YouTube. Great, so I know this is my active credential. I changed the name. So if you have clients whose credentials you've connected with, you can actually rename them just for the client's name. So that's super helpful. Was so happy when I found that out. It was literally really bothering me. So here, what we're going to do is we're just going to drag in the channel ID now. And so what this is doing, you can see here, the resource is video, and it's set to get many, and the limit is 5. And ordered by the date. So this is most recent videos, right? So we want to make sure that everything is most recent. So we're just grabbing the 5 most recent videos for this first channel. And then from there, now we've reconnected this here. So let's just run this one first. So I'm going to go ahead and click test step. This should work. Great. So now we just returned 5 videos from Ken here, right? And we can basically see these Twitter AX agents grow your account 24/7. It has all this information about it, right? So we kind of have to go through here, and we need to figure out what information really do we want to store. Are the thumbnail? I don't think thumbnails are helpful for us. I think title, description, and then the engagement metrics, right? Likes, comments, shares, etc., which doesn't actually come from this node. You can basically see, we can come into the schema here. It's a little bit easier to see. You can see what comes from here. The video ID, the description, the title, and some stuff for the thumbnails, the channel, and the publish time. But it doesn't have any of the metrics, right? And so that's where this YouTube get video node comes into play. Basically now we're just piping in the video ID, which is coming from here. And now we're just going to go through one at a time and get all of the videos. And so now you can see we've actually output 5 items. This is for every video. So now we have the full title, the full description. This still has the thumbnails. This has all the tags, which is actually maybe helpful if we're doing YouTube videos, although, which is kind of like what's trending. I don't know, like if we're, my client is really looking to post on LinkedIn, not post on YouTube. So I actually don't think this is going to be helpful for him, but know that it's here if this is something that you want access to. Great. So we can go there. This is this. And then we have the duration, 27 minutes, 23 seconds, which is pretty long. And then if we come down here even further, now we have the stats, right? The view counts, likes, favorites, and comments. And I don't see shares on here. Maybe it's just because this video hasn't been shared. I'm not sure. So we won't have that for now. Maybe it's not as important. And this one you can see we have this content details, duration, length, and we're filtering it by the length is greater than 5. And what this is doing is it's not that the length is greater than 5 seconds. It's actually that the character count of the length is greater than 5, because let me go back to here where we have this weird format. I remember this from the video. Come back in here, PT27M23S. And so basically what was happening, PT is always in there, and there's always going to be some number of seconds because it's a video. And so basically, if it was 59 seconds, it would say PT59S, which is 5 characters. But once you get into minutes, you start having PT 1 minute, 0 seconds, and so it starts kind of like the length of that field is greater than 5, and so we're just kind of like filtering out shorts is really what's happening, right? And so this is this, and let's see. So this is what Nick had in here for I'm going to keep this just so I have access to these formulas. But what we're going to do is we're going to link this up to our Airtable database. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go to Airtable. We're going to create a record. I'm going to go to from list. We'll search for the database. And we will come down here. And I'm going to get scraped content. And I need to execute this previous node, the filter, to have access to this. Okay, great. So we're in here, and I mean, I'm going to look again. I think he was grabbing this from the filter, right? If we had just JSON, so that if it just says JSON and not the name of a node, that means it's just pulling from the record directly before. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab I think username was down at the bottom. Content details. Love when you can. Okay, here's the channel title. Okay, username, post body. Again, so maybe we'll just put the description in there. And maybe we'll change the name of that field at some point, right? I'm not sure. Come down here, now we have the stats. We have the like count, comments, shares, which we didn't have. Comment count is here, posted date, and views. So we actually don't have a view column, right? So we can come back here, we can see we actually don't even have that. In the scrape content, likes, comments, shares. So let me duplicate this to the right. Give us a second. Sometimes duplication takes a second. Views. And I'm okay with this being here off to the right because not everything will have views. And so we come back here, you can see we need to refresh this. And now we have likes, comments, shares, and views, which are going to come in here, view count. Posted date. What format do I have in here? This weird long format. Okay, maybe at some point I'll change the formatting, but I think this is okay for now. Posted date, posted date, posted date. Published at. And then here, platform is going to be YouTube. So now we have this all as YouTube. And attachments, like, do I want to bring the thumbnail in just so we have, like, I don't think we're ever going to be analyzing it, to be honest with you, but like maybe it's helpful to have it because it exists. So we can bring that in, and there's always, without saving, I have this in my social hub. There's always a weird formula for Airtable with storing the images. So I literally just come in here and grab it every time. URL. Okay, cool. So basically it always needs this array formula to store this inside of Airtable. And so we don't want JSON.web content link. We want JSON. This isn't snippet, right? Oh, it isn't snippet. Interesting. Okay, so we need JSON. Testing my JSON skills right here, which, to be honest with you, are not that good. JSON.snippet.thumbnails. And why don't we grab maxres.url? Should be that easy, right? Cool. And we're not getting an error. We're seeing it. Like, I'm just going to grab the highest resolution thumbnail because why not, right? And I think that's all we need for this. We don't have any status. We don't have any shares, right? That wasn't a thing on here. View count, comment count. Like, I feel like if it exists, it's like maybe on a video that has been shared before. Guess I didn't copy this right. So seriously, is this not? This is just not going to copy for me. Okay, that's weird. So okay, this does not seem to. Okay, there we go. And so this is probably going to be share count. It's undefined right now, so I think it's just going to cause us problems if we have it. So I'm just going to have it at that for now. So if I test this step, let's go ahead. This will run, and this is coming through. So now we should have 5 items inside here. Great. So now we have. Cool. So now you can see we have these 5 YouTube videos. If we pop this one open, with the username, we have the description, likes, comments, shares of 0. We didn't know how to import that in. We have the views, the posted date, the platform is YouTube, and then we have the thumbnail here, just in case we want it. I don't know, like it's whatever. Give your client more, than you think you might need. So I think we can do this sort by likes, and why don't we also sort by platform, first and last. And do we have to put this first? What if I do this now? I guess, yeah, we'll have to put this first if we do want to group this by platform, which is fine, I guess. That's fine. So what we can do here is we can just duplicate this view now, and we can call this YouTube here, and filter by likes and filter by platform is LinkedIn, and this is just platform is YouTube. So now we have these YouTube videos in here. This is great. Cool, this is working. What I'm gonna do just to fully test this is now I'm gonna delete all of these records because we have these here, and I'm just gonna relink this loop back to the loop. And I can delete this Google Sheet because we don't need it. Come down here. Let's go ahead. We'll add a new note. Just hit Shift S to add a note, and I will call this YouTube Scraper. Great. And why not? Why don't we make these the proper colors? We're color coordinating everything. Let's just make them color coordinated. So go ahead, click save. Always save your work. So now if I test this workflow, in theory, what it's going to do, it's going to search the record. You can see if I pop in here, grab 3 of the channel IDs, we can add as many as we want to that list. It's going to loop through the items one at a time. It's going to grab 5 items, 1 for every creator. We come in here, we can see all of them are in here now. They're sorted by likes currently, but maybe we want to sort by views, which we don't have for LinkedIn. So hard to say, but if we just come into YouTube now, we have all of the all of the videos in here in LinkedIn. Although I will say there are only 3 of my videos that popped in. Oh, probably because I have less than 4 likes. Okay, shout at me. Hey, go like these some more of my videos so I can get on my own list here. Let's see, is this right? Or does it actually only have a couple videos in here? I guess, okay, it only scraped a few. That's interesting. So let me go see why that is. And I think run 3 of 3 should probably be me. It says 5 items here. Kept 12. So what do we filter out? Oh, so it grabbed a few shorts. Yeah, that's right. Because I do post shorts, and so it grabbed a few shorts and it filtered out the shorts. So I only have long form videos. So if I wanted more long form videos, I guess we'd have to increase the count here. So that's what's going on. Great. So I can go back. Okay, so that makes me feel better. I have more than 4 likes. Awesome. Cool. Up to 10 still at the bottom of this list. So go like the videos. Great. So this is pretty cool. So this is set up. We started to organize this a little bit. And I think one thing that we're going to want to start doing is categorizing all of this. And so I think instead of a single select, we'll probably have a multi-select, and we want to call them topics or categories. I don't know what's a better word. You guys tell me. I don't have these topics or categories yet. I think the way I would do it, honestly, is like I would just copy all of this, and I'd like come into ChatGPT and I'd say, based on the following video descriptions, identify. And I think like probably if once we have a lot of content, like we'd identify like 20 to 30. Why don't we just say 10 for now? Identify 10 possible categories or topics that these posts could fit into. Not every post needs to belong to these same categories, categories. In fact, they should be different, although they can overlap. And I would just like paste this in here. So we pasted all of this in here, and let's just see, right? So it's going to grab all these descriptions. So we have AI automation workflows, creator economy and scaling content, education tutorials, women in tech, solopreneur, and digital nomad lifestyle. So cool. So this has like some cool categories here, and that's great. That's super helpful. We can copy and paste those in if we want. I just want to see if it's possible. We'll probably change these out, once we get to the client, because this is obviously not his industry. So we want to group these by category. And then from there, let's go back and reference this, right? So ranking. So we haven't ranked anything. maybe that's what we should focus on now, rather than categorizing, because I think that might pose a little bit of a challenge. Do we want to categorize them, or do we want to rank them first? Just having all the existential questions here. I think ranking them is going to be more beneficial, because then we don't have to deal with swapping out the categories for now. I think we can just rank them. And so let me think of how we can add ranking to this flow. And I think the question becomes, do we want to do this inside of n8n at like this stage, or do we want to see if we can come up with an Airtable formula to rank them? And then again, what is the criteria that we're ranking them on, right? Comments, views, outliers, total number of views. And so I think this would be, here, great. This is another great opportunity. I'm just going to open a new chat. This is fine. So this is sort of how I use AI. So basically, I would say I have 50 pieces of content. I don't currently, but we could, right? 50 pieces of content. I'm trying to develop a ranking system. There are 3 ways I'm looking at it, and ideally we'd come up with a way to rank content based on all 3 of these. Here are the ways we can rank content. Colon 1, views. The total number of views. The more views, the better. Great. 2, outliers. We could take the average number of views for all pieces of content and rank things higher if they exceed that average, let's say by a multiple of 2x. So say if like the average number of views is 100, but one of your videos has 200 views, you know that would probably rank higher, right? Because this video is significantly outperforming the average of all the videos. And then 3 would be comment to view ratio. Videos that have more comments relative to the views should rank higher. We could either use a code node in n8n to do this, or an Airtable formula. What do you recommend? Help me. Great. Cool. So this is sort of like how I use this. Kind of think through the problem, give ChatGPT your problem in as much context as you can. So first of all, straight out the bat, use a code node in n8n. Airtable formulas are limited in multivariable weighting, conditional logic, and cross-row comparison like averages. A code node allows for all this stuff. So great. Here's the recommended approach. So we're going to input an array of content items, each with views, comments, the title, etc. And then we're going to compute the average views across all content. And then for each item, whether it's an outlier, comment to view ratio, and then assign a score. Okay, so this is generally like, this is like we're on the right track here, right? And I think there are some pieces that are kind of missing. And I think I'm going to look at this database again. And I think we'll probably want to do it. I think we'll probably want to do it in each flow, right? I think we'll probably want to do it for the LinkedIn flow and for the YouTube flow, because like LinkedIn doesn't have views. I don't think it had impressions when I looked at it. Let me just unlink this for now and let me see, like maybe I missed something. So let me run this through. This is basically scraping the LinkedIn profiles. This is fine. This is doing its business. It's scraping the data. Let me see. I don't think it had post impressions. Post URL, ID, user profile pictures. We don't need pictures. We don't need images. Author, document celebration, poll. Empathy. Yeah, so it just has reactions like that. It's kind of a shame that it doesn't have impressions. There may be, I don't know, maybe I could use a different scraper, but we don't have it for now. I think that's okay. Maybe we'll try to sort this out later. We know we do have views for YouTube here, which is great. So I think what we can do is, before we create the record, we will add in the code node. But this code node, I know what we have here isn't going to work entirely. I think I can do this. I don't mind making another call to the YouTube API. It's not going to cost me anything. So we have this, we filter out the items, and let's just grab this JSON. And so what we can do here is, this is the incoming JSON. So first, let's do this. Not only do I need to output the rank, sort by score, I also want to output its outlier score, which should be a multiple on the average, and the comment to view ratio. It's going to analyze all this. It's basically, now it's just understanding the input format. So it kind of knows how to structure the code that's like in a really specific way, that's like specific to what it's going to be taking in. So it's analyzing all of this. And then we're also saying, like, I don't just want the score. Like, I kind of want all of those other bits of data too. Like I said, like, give your client more if you can give your client more. And so if we can build in a way for him to have access to all of this data. Okay, this is great, but I didn't want you to do it. I didn't want a table. I wanted you to create the n8n code that would allow me to extract this info. No wonder it's taking so long. I was building out this whole nice table. Great. Extract view and comment data, input all, yada, 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 parse the items and the view counts and the comment count. Okay, calculate the average views, compute the metrics, rank videos by score descending. I'll use this for now. I want to ask it, how are you determining the rank? Because it's not clear to me like what metrics it's using. Rank is determined by sorting all videos in descending order based on their total score, which is computed using this formula. Views times half, outliers. I don't know what this means. Can you explain the scoring to me in English? And then we always use this hack in ChatGPT, right? Explain it to me like I'm 5. Great. Like, make this super simple for me. More views equals more points. Every view adds a little bit to your score. Outlier bonus. If your video is more than double the average views of all videos, it gets a big bonus. That's like saying, whoa, this one did way better than most. Great. Thanks for explaining to me like I'm 5. Comments matter too if it gets a lot of comments compared to its views. So we multiply that comment to view ratio by 10,000 to make it count a lot. For the videos in order from highest to lowest, the one with the most points is ranked 1. So that sounds cool. Like, is this just gonna work? Like, I would love for this to just work. I'm like super curious. Okay, so all right, cool. Copy paste. Yeah, YOLO. Do the kids still say that? Great. 5 items. Here are the outputs. Let me go to the schema just to see. Snippet, content detail, status, stats. Here we go. Recording details. Rank 1. Here's the score, the outlier score, and the comment to view ratio. Wow. Okay. So the comment to view, okay, ratio. Okay, great. And so it sounds like here, I mean, why don't we round? Can we round the score? I mean, we can put these in. We can do the rounding in Airtable, or we can just have the node do it. Do we have a preference? I'm not sure. Okay, so this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Why don't we duplicate this? And what do we say we have? We had, where did this go? Rank, score, outlier score, and comment to view ratio. Okay, rank. score, outlier score, and comment to view ratio. Comment to view ratio. I think I was going to put a colon, but I just feel like that's going to like mess up the system. So, okay, cool. I mean, this worked, which is really great. Calculate rank. Great. Now we can link this back up. We can come in here and let me refresh these fields. Thumbnail, status, statistics, these details. Great. So rank number 1. I think, I think what's, okay, I know what's going to happen here. And I think this, okay, here's what's going to happen here. Because what's going to happen is it's going to rank everything. It's going to rank everything in relation to each other, right? So the 5 items that came from my account, it's going to score them relative to each other. We actually want to score this relative to everything, right? And so I think what we're actually going to need to do is we're going to need to get, we're going to need to search Airtable again, right? Once we have all of the content in there, I think what we're going to need to do is search it again. And this is something that we could run like once a day or something to kind of just like re-rank everything and rescore everything. So here we have the scraped content. And this is, again, we want platform equals YouTube. This work? Great, 12 items. Okay, cool, that works. So we have 12 items here. And now what this is doing is this is actually ranking them relative to all of them, right? Relative to everything in the table. So now I can do update a record. Sorry, Airtable node, update a record. Come back in here. We can do this again. There's a lot of Airtable databases to search through. Come in here, from list, scraped content. Use ID to match. Great, that's great. Let's run this. Now I think we should have, ideally, cannot read properties, undefined view count. Oh, because maybe I called it, let me see. I think view count, comment count, rank, score, alex score, comment view. I'm just trying to see what it actually pulled in so that we can name the fields the same. I think, why don't I just say, let me just change this. So I'll just have it do this. This is actually the input data. Please rename the fields appropriately so the code will work. So now it'll basically just know that I didn't have comment to view ratio. You can see now I just called it views, comments, etc., etc. So now it's just kind of like pulling in the right name. So that's why that wasn't working. So let's see if I go here. The rest of the formula should be the same in theory. I'm not a coder. I really don't know what any of this means, but I think it's pretty cool. So cool. We output. We returned all 12 items. And what we're going to do now is we're going to match the ID with the record ID. Great. And we want to delete this. I actually don't, when it's a number field, I found that it just like default puts these zeros in and you have to erase them. And my concern a little bit is that something like they just like pop back on. And so I'm hoping, well, we'll see what happens. Why don't we do that? Why don't we see what happens? Schema is sometimes easier to work with. And I can go, okay, great. Let's go to rank. We can go score. We can go outlier score, and we can go comment to view ratio. So let's see what happens if I test the step. It should update 12 items in theory, and we should be able to hop back into Airtable and kind of see what it's done. Great, 12 items. If I come back in here and I can go to YouTube Okay, it kept all of this. There are no shares that default to 0. And then if we come over here, views, rank, score, outlier score, comment to view ratio, great. And so I know that we're gonna come in here and we need decimal places. Like this had like, is this 4? Does this go all the way to 4? Yeah, because it's pretty small. Outlier score, we can do this, and we can do this to, let's do the 2. That's fine. Total score, I don't know how to calculate that score, and then the rank, right? And so basically what we want to do is now we actually just want to sort this by rank. Wrong way, 1 to 9. Cool. And so Nick's video here, let's see what it is, right? Podcast summary. Podcast with Anna on how she built a $13,000 a month marketing content agency. And so we can come over here, we can see it has good likes, it has good comments, it has good shares. What happened to views? Okay, let's move views. I actually kind of like to put views first, right? Views, likes, had a lot of views, had good comments, had a lot of likes. This is the score. The score is 11,000. It's an outlier, right? It's performing this much better than the average. My video performing under the average of the total here, right? So it kind of skews it if you're trying to do it for a content creator, but I think we're kind of like taking an aggregate over everything, right? But it's hard, right? Like, you know, these guys have more subscribers than I do. So it's like, how do you rank it? And so maybe, is it better to rank it in relation to its own content, or is it better to rank it in relation to everything? I wonder if we complicate the thing. When we do this, okay, fine. Let me connect a trigger here. I'm wondering if we can get the total number of subscribers, and then we can add that in, and we can adjust the code to basically account for the total number of subscribers as well. So let me see here what happens when we do these get channels. Channel, live broadcast. So this isn't bringing in subscriber count. Okay, so that's okay. If we can't do it now, maybe I'll think about this another time. It's not super important, but if we could do it in relation to, yeah, again, to the total number of subs, I think that would be really helpful. Public channel ID, publish that, channel title, text, thumbnails, localized, default language, content details, status, here are the stats, player, topic, localized. So, okay, we don't have channel subscribers, so maybe there's a different way to scrape that, but we are not going to worry about that now. But you can kind of see how we start to build out these systems. And so I think today was pretty cool. We kind of like mapped out the full system a little bit more. We started to figure out how to scrape YouTube and pull in likes, comments, and shares, try to identify our goals, figure out kind of like how to, how we want to rank these posts. We kind of use ChatGPT to help come up with like a cool, like little bit of code and logic that I would not have been able to do on my own to figure out how we rank these. Then I think next we're going to have to figure out how we categorize them. And then from there, figure out how to create new content based off of these ranks and these categories. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to get access to any more, blueprints and a community full of AI automators, hop into the SKOOL community. I'll see you over there.